Arthritis is a spectrum, and I was just very unlucky that mine was pretty much as aggressive as it could have been.
I was diagnosed when I was sort of 10. There was no treatment for me at all. All they ever said was, well, there's nothing else we can do, so just get on with it.
Part of the problem about arthritis is the word. People immediately associate the word arthritis with old people and a granny with a stick, and they don't understand that children can get it.
Choose not to, that's why I keep going to work. You know, I choose that it's not going to defeat me.
Arthritis, a hidden condition that has many different types, and something that you can't exactly see in someone unless they tell you. It affects more than 10 million people in the UK, but still to this day it carries the stigma of just affecting old people, something which isn't the case. I've watched my own family deal with the pain and upset that it causes, and I want to know how to help fight for this disease to be acknowledged. The issue is people don't understand it, and until something changes, they never will. To understand if I will inherit arthritis myself, look at what help is out there for people, and hear from others about their experiences with arthritis. It's a condition that affects so many people, but no one seems to care. I've come back home, which is where I first learned about arthritis and witnessed the effects of it firsthand. My mum was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis when she was just 8 years old, and was told she'd even be in a wheelchair by the age of 40. Since then, she has truly gone on to defy the condition and become my inspiration. But I want to get a better understanding of my family history and the chances of me inheriting the disease.
Hello, you alright?
Thank you.
Good.
Go on, put the kettle on then.
Yeah, let's have a cup. I'm just folding my washing up.
That's fine. Thank you.
There you go.
So Mum, let's talk a bit about your arthritis journey and the start of it all happening.
Right, well, when I was little, I used to always have to have wide fit shoes, and my mum used to have to take me to Worksop because it was the only place that you could get any. When my feet started getting even wider and I couldn't even fit in the G-fit shoes, she thought she'd better take me to the doctors. And then I was referred to the hospital, and it was found that I got arthritis in my feet, and they needed to give me some supports for my feet to try and pull the bones back in. And so I went to the hospital to a consultant called Mr. McFarlane, and he gave me some really big, they were called metatarsal pads, and they were like big thick strips of elastic with a pad underneath your foot.
So would you say as well in today's society that it's actually easier to cope with arthritis than it was in the past?
I think it's easier if you've got arthritis now to be able to wear the gadgets that you're given to help you with those. I don't think people are as judgmental in that sort of thing.
Do you ever think that me or Charlotte would actually inherit arthritis in our feet when we were growing up?
That was my biggest worry, that you would inherit my feet. It was really. And to be honest, I don't know where I inherited it from. No. I think it was from my grandpa's side of the family, because my auntie, my great aunt, she had arthritis in her feet and her hands.
Speaking of family history as well, do you think there is a chance that I will actually inherit arthritis, or does it look like it probably won't happen?
It might not be you. I mean, it could be your children or even your children's children. You know, exactly. It could. Things often skip generations.
Yeah.
You know, especially things like that.
What my mum said really struck me. If I want to know about arthritis being hereditary, I need to educate myself. I've turned to the internet to learn answers from professionals in the rheumatology sector. So here on Medline Plus it says the inheritance pattern of rheumatoid arthritis is unclear because many genetic and environmental factors appear to be involved. However, having a close relative with rheumatoid arthritis likely increases a person's risk of developing the condition. However, on Healthline it says that it can't calculate your chances of RA based on family history, and that other factors can trigger the abnormal autoimmune response. So there does seem to be like a risk because of my mum having it, but the inheritance isn't clear. You know, so realistically, the likelihood of me inheriting rheumatoid arthritis or juvenile idiopathic arthritis is greater than the normal person, but can't be determined. With no clear answers, I still wonder if I'll ever suffer, and what treatments and medicines there are to help me if I do. I've taken my research international and spoken to Dr. Bose from the American College of Rheumatology in hopes she can tell me more. So Dr. Bose, how is arthritis actually treated today, and do you think that it's improved at all?
I think treatment is actually very good as of now. I mean, with rheumatoid arthritis, we have a whole host of therapeutic options that we can offer our patients now. And we are able to really get low disease or even remission. We hardly see any joint damage or deformities anymore if the diagnosis is made correctly at the right time. But as of now, it's all about, halting damage, controlling damage, and preventing further damage.
Although it's not always about medicines and surgery to help combat arthritis. Many people look at lifestyle changes and exercising. To understand better how exercise can be a good alternative for easing joint pain, I spoke to Louise Bailey, who's a health and fitness writer.
It's got lots of benefits. So generally GPs will prescribe painkillers, but they kind of come with some side effects like nausea and sickness, and this can really affect people's ability to go about their day-to-day lives, and just can be quite miserable for the individual. So exercise doesn't have any of those side effects, and it's really good for our mental and our physical well-being.
And with exercising in particular, what is it that helps with the easing joints? Is it that exercising makes it more flexible?
If we think kind of scientifically about it, exercise releases endorphins. Now they're mostly associated with boosting our mood, but they're also really good at pain relieving, so that's one factor. It's also been shown to reduce inflammation, so that's another thing to consider.
Hearing Louise talk about fitness as a treatment got me wondering, what about other people and their experiences with arthritis? All it took was one search, and I was flooded with different stories. I came across the National Rheumatoid Arthritis Society, a group that supports the research and campaigning of rheumatoid arthritis and juvenile idiopathic arthritis. Through looking on their website, I came across Debbie, who, like my mum, was diagnosed with JIA when she was young. And when reading more, I learnt her daughter Sophie was also diagnosed when she was just 12. Their life is exactly an example of what I was looking at into my own. So I'd love to speak to them and find out more. So I've just got an email back from Debbie. Oh, she said yes.
Hang on, let me put my camera on. There we go.
That's great, thank you.
Hiya.
Are you alright?
My daughter.
Hello, you alright? So to start with you, Debbie, when you found out you had JIA, how were you feeling?
Because I'd been to so many doctors and so many kind of A&E departments just for having x-rays, in one respect it did feel like a big relief that if there was something, I'm not actually faking it, which most people, especially sort of friends and that around that age, even now they don't really understand. In school, teachers didn't understand. There was no understanding about the disease. There was one time I went on a trip to the south of France with geography, and after the coach trip down there, my knees and my hips just stiffened up, and I just couldn't walk for the rest of the time. So my teachers just left me there every day.
And what was it like, Debbie, obviously going through everything you have, and then your daughter Sophie gets diagnosed with it as well?
It was quite tough when she was diagnosed. My other daughter, Emma, she had quite a lot of joint pains. The consultant did a thorough examination of them. She sort of went out the room and came back and said, "Oh, I've got good news and bad news." And I just assumed it was Emma because she had kind of more pains. So when they said that, no, it's Sophie that has it, and I was just like, it just completely shattered me.
And Sophie, what were your thoughts and emotions when you were told?
I didn't really know what to think. I was quite shocked and quite sad because I didn't know what to think about it really.
And do you both feel it's been easier because you've been going through the same thing together?
We were close beforehand, but we're so close now, and we do really do support each other. I know, looking at Sophie, I don't even have to ask her if her joints are hurting. I can just see.
Because we both go through the same thing, we just sort of know what to say and what to do to make each other feel better.
Something I learnt while speaking to Debbie was that she actually works for the National Rheumatoid Arthritis Society, and that so many others do who also suffer with the disease. Eleanor Farr is an ambassador for the society and was diagnosed when she was at university, but she hasn't let rheumatoid arthritis stop her from following her dreams.
I've had pretty much every joint in my body affected apart from my jaw. So it was like a hurricane. It was like elbow, knees, wrists, fingers, neck, just hip, just literally went completely out of control from there. And it was literally months. I'd gone from being able to walk to literally not being able to sort of stand and walk at all. The pain was keeping me up. That's obviously when I found out I needed the total hip replacement.
Do you feel like you've broken down barriers and the stigma of arthritis?
Quite a lot that I'd managed to achieve in spite of the fact that I'd spent so long in hospital. From going from literally that level of incapability to running a studio, which is photography is surprisingly physically demanding, you up and down a lot. But as cliche as it sounds, I actually think having arthritis made me sort of push harder to get what I wanted.
While learning from the experiences Debbie, Sophie and Ellie have had to go through, one thing that seems to have kept them positive is the work of MRAS. The charity began in 2001 and follows their slogan of changing minds, changing services, changing lives. I spoke to the founder of MRAS, Elsa Bosworth MBE, who has rheumatoid arthritis herself, about why she set up the charity.
We launched with literally a very basic website, a little 3-fold leaflet. If I think back to those early days, if somebody had told me that, 20 years fast forward, you'd have an organisation with 28 employees, an international reputation, and all the rest of it, I wouldn't have believed you.
As well, why is it so important to raise awareness and have a charity like MRAS?
Because if you don't, who is going to speak for these people? We have to have these individual organisations to bring the necessary level of focus onto these disease areas, because they are hugely important, they are common, and they have a massive impact on people's lives.
There are calls to the government through various campaigns to take steps in helping people living with rheumatoid and juvenile idiopathic arthritis. From all the conversations and insights I've had, I agree that the conversation about arthritis needs to be pushed.
It was this aspect of my world that I'd only seen. I never fully understood it, but now I get it, that these people that are living with arthritis are living in a shadow, really.
We've seen how this condition is scary and causes so many sacrifices. There is a lot of work that needs to be done, and this is just the beginning. I hope in years to come, people who are suffering with arthritis are heard.